Good day, sir. We are the group that's going to tackle about the Rizal's life that involves it includes the focusing and importance of resilience traits and virtues, the positive and versus negative love of self, creativity, the key to productivity and progress, serving others and social responsibility. So I'm going to discuss about focusing on important traits of results. So for resilient traits and virtues are considered by a good number of the current young and middle-aged Filipinos as old-fashioned. So, our ideal man or persons are described as tunay na lalaki, macho, walay gikadlukan, or walay gipili. Like, a Filipino man, our ideal Filipino man, manggod sir, is we describe as like, kung lalaki ka, dapat di ka mahadlok. Kung lalaki ka, dapat, like, wala kay kihadlukan. Kung magkig-away, magsumbagay, like, ginanam kita ito ang Filipino, like, old-fashioned na Filipino. While, on the other hand, if you talk about Rizal's traits and virtues, so being like Rizal is an act which requires brain, determination, courage to be different, and most of all, a lot of heart. So, like sa gihimo ni Dr. Rizal sa to ang country, sir, sa history is like wala niya gigamit ang iyang physical strength, like wala siya nakigubat sa mga Espanyol, wala siya naggamit og blood through kanang Espanyol. Niya gigamit iyang physical strength, pero iyang gigamit iyang brain, courage and determination sa pamaagi sa iyang pagsulat. Paagi sa iyang paggamitan niya iyang brain pagsulat sa mga Espanyol, sa mga US, muna nahitabo sa Philippines. Saya ang gihimo, sir. Dr. Rizal gives a lot of courage and a lot of kaning lessons sa atong Philippines, ato ang culture or ato ang country na dili gyud nato makalimtan. So in order to be Jose Rizal's acquire the traits of Jose Rizal, you need to be brainful, mindful, determination, and courage.
Although the country is no longer under foreign rule or dictatorship, Filipinos still have to be Rizal-like in order to progress as a nation. Corruption, human rights violation, poor quality of education, lawlessness in some part of the country, oppression of the poor and the marginalized member of society, and other must be remended if the Philippines wants to improve its third world country status. Only individuals with result traits and virtues could pull this country out of this quagmire. Listed below are some important traits and virtues of Dr. Jose Rizal: love for God, love for parents, love for country, love for fellow men, love for the environment, love for justice, love for education, love for idealism, noble conduct, self sacrifice, self control, courage, initiative, courtesy and politeness, thrift, gratitude, charity, devotion to truth, honesty, humility, and creativity. Here are the three examples nga nagpapatunay na pinapakita o na ipakita ni Rizal sa mga tao. First, love of God. I believe in the existence of our Creator. When his sister Olympia died after childbirth upon his arrival to the Philippines from Europe, Rizal remarked, I console myself saying that it was the will of God. What he does must be the best. Love for country. The whole thought of my whole life has always been love of my country and her moral and material development. Results letter to governor. Love for parents. Take very good care of yourself and take care of my old father so that we meet again. With nothing more, my beloved mother, I kiss your hand and my father with all the love and tenderness that my heart is capable of. Give me your blessings that I greatly need. From Rizal after a letter for his parents before leaving for Cuba as a volunteer doctor. Examine carefully Dr. Rizal's important traits and virtues. Compare them with your own traits and virtues and decide if you would like him to be your role model. By examining Jose Rizal's traits and virtues, I adore him so much, and I like him to be my role model. It is important for an individual to have a role model. Yes, it is important because they can help us to be a good and will shape us to be a better person. What is the advantage of having Rizal as a role model? By acquiring Rizal's traits and behavior, we can help our nation and other people. Who is your personal hero? Does she or he have results they sacrifice their life for us and set aside? My personal hero is my parents because like Rizal, they can sacrifice their life for me and set aside the things that they want for themselves just to give me a better future.
So now we are already done discussing or knowing the different traits and values of Dr. Jose Rizal that makes him a better example to every Filipino, especially to us as a youth, in helping or developing our nations or country to be better. So now we will proceed to the topic serving others a social responsibility. So, serving others a social responsibility. Do you agree that serving others is everyone's responsibility? So, I know that your answer would probably yes. And serving others is clearly everybody's responsibility. Why? Because in serving others, we could share love and empathy to our neighbors that could bring unity and could bring our nations to be better. And but in present realities, there's a characteristic of Filipinos that lead them or to that make them down. So this characteristic is called the kanya-kanya or to each his own. Or in other term, pagiging makasarili. So, the kanya-kanya or pagiging makasarili mentality has influenced many Filipinos into alienating themselves from others. So, ang pagiging makasarili ay nagdadala sa mga Pilipino sa pagiging mapag-isa. Okay? It is not uncommon to hear about antagonism between the rich and the poor. So, by the way, the term antagonism could refer to the term ang pagkakaiba or ang pagiging mataas at mababa, no? Antagonism between rich and poor, ang pagiging mayaman at mahirap. The strong and the weak, ang pagiging malakas at mahina. The Christians and the Muslims, the rightist and the leftist. At representa ito sa gap sa dalawang tao or sa dalawang bagay. So, this result in man going against his nature as a social individual. So, ang pagiging kanya-kanya or makasarili ay makakapalayo sa isang tao sa kanyang sa iyang nature as a social individual who should be willing to love and serve others even if they do not belong to his own group. So being a nature of social individual is to help others, is to serve others, is to show empathy to others even if they do not belong to his own group. But sa pagiging makasarili natin ay makapapalayo na sa atin ito sa pagiging a socially or social individual. So, while it is true that love for and service to others are part of God's plan of creation, these same gifts could also be sources of misery, pain, cruelty, injustice, and oppression. So, it is true that love for and service to others are part of God's creation. Yes, because um, we are created by God through love. Okay? And it is our duty to show empathy to our neighbors or to our fellow human being, especially to our fellow Filipinos. But But ang pagiging makasarili ay ah, magpapalayo sa atin sa pagiging ah, mapagmahal or pagiging matulungin sa iba. Ang the gift of God that be of being to serve others is a part of God's plan. And this gift could also be a source of pain. Why? Because if this love, no, kung ang ang pagmamahal or ang serbisyong ito na regalo sa atin ng Panginoon ay ibinibigay lamang natin sa ating pamilya or sa ating mga kaibigan or sa mga taong malapit sa atin, ay magiging injustice ito, hindi ito magiging fair sa iba. So, dapat, no, we will not share only our service or our love to our not we will not only share our service and love to those people who are close to us, okay, but also we will share our love to the surroundings or to the people na nasisimuluhan natin sa araw-araw. So, water when contaminated by poison can be a source of death instead of life to those who drink it. So, if the water will be contaminated by the poison, it will no longer uh, bring life to the person, but instead death. So the contamination of man's natural ability to serve others with jealousy, rivalry, pride, prejudice, ignorance, and misunderstanding leads to one's refusal to be socially concerned. So same as water, no, if our ability or our natural ability would be contaminated by poison such as jealousy, ang pagiging ang pagiging inggitera or inggitero or pagiging pride, ang sa pagiging mataas or pagiging misunderstanding, it would lead to one's refusal to socially concerned and responsible for those who do not belong to our group. So, meaning that our natural ability is to serve others and make sure that we will not be hindi tayo magiging hindi ito magiging or mabibigyan ng poison na maaring makasira ng ating abilidad para tumulong sa iba. So, ang pagiging matulungin sa iba ay responsibilidad ng bawat tao. So, serving others is social responsibility.
So next is positive versus negative love of self. Our materialistic society measures success by the amount of money that one has in her or his bank account, the palatial houses that one owns, the latest model car which one drives, the 6 to 7 figures that one earns monthly, and other power and luxurious that one enjoys. We have a tendency to accumulate more and more material goods in order to keep up with this present standard of success. This, therefore, results in greed, which originates from negative love of self or selfishness. No matter how rich and powerful we become, we remain unsatisfied. Greed could be likened to a bottomless pit which immerses us in a network of delusions and a series of unrealistic dreams, which could cloud our decision-making ability. Wrong becomes right and bad becomes good. So positive love of self involves healthy self-esteem, self-care, and self-respect. It's about acknowledging your worth, taking care of your needs without disregarding others, and fostering a healthy relationship with yourself. Negative love of self or selfishness on the other hand, often involves excessive self centeredness, prioritizing oneself over others to an unhealthy extent and disregarding the needs or feelings of others in pursuit of personal gain. It can lead to a lack of sympathy and an imbalanced focus solely on one's desires or benefits without considering the impact on others. So next is I will discuss the roadblocks to serving others. There are several roadblocks can hinder one from serving others effectively. So first is self-centeredness, lack of sympathy, fear of vulnerability, limited resources, prejudices and biases, burnout and compassion fatigue. Overcoming these roadblocks often involves developing empathy, practicing self awareness, cultivating a giving mindset, and actively working to understand and address one's limitation and biases. It also involves setting healthy boundaries and practicing self care to avoid burnout while still serving others effectively. So, is it possible for a selfish person to be truly patriotic, socially concerned, morally upright, and productive? Absolutely yes. It's possible for a selfish person to possess traits like patriotism, social concern, moral uprightness, and productivity. These qualities are not inherently exclusive to each other. However, this manifestation and depth may vary due to the way selfishness influences behavior and attitudes. Also, the concern arises when selfishness becomes the primary motivation for these traits. Personally, overshadowing genuine care, empathy, or altruistic motives, it's possible for someone to exhibit these positive traits while still prioritizing their self interest. But the depth and authenticity of their actions might differ from those rooted in a more selfless approach. So next is in our present society, what seems to be the root cause of the following: graft and corruption, terrorism, and environmental destruction. So the root causes of these societal issues are multifaceted and can be influenced by various factors like graft and corruption, terrorism, and environmental destruction. Addressing these issues often requires comprehensive approach that involves structural changes in governance, economic systems, education, social reforms, and international cooperation. Tackling the root causes involves promoting transparency, accountability, education, equitable distribution of resources, sustainable practices, and fostering a culture of responsibility and ethical behavior among others, corporation and governments. So next is what is the relationship between Rizal's positive self-love and his desire to help his fellow Filipinos. So Rizal's positive self-love played a significant role in his desire to help his fellow Filipinos. His strong sense of self-worth, pride in his heritage, and love for his country fueled his commitment to uplifting the Filipino people. His love for his own identity as a Filipino drove him to advocate to reforms and social change. His positive self-love wasn't just about personal pride. It was the foundation upon which he built his aspiration for the Philippines. His desire to help his fellow Filipinos stem from his belief that a nation's progress starts with empowerment and development of its people, fostering a sense of dignity, self-respect, and a shared national identity. Results, actions, and writings aim at awakening national consciousness and fostering unity among Filipinos, empowering them to strive for a better future.
Are you a proactive or reactive person? Present realities, a large number of Filipinos seem to be infected by a contagious virus called victimitis. Such people believe that the government owes them something, that the world, in general, is a cruel place to live in. They fail to recognize that their attitude is the problem. They react adversely to situations that they feel affect them negatively. Such reactive people are easily offended, blame others, complain, get angry, utter curse words, wait for things to happen, and act only when they are forced to. Reactive persons do not bother to think and weigh things before they act. In everyday life, reactive language includes the following: "It is your fault. That's not fair. That's just the way I am. There's nothing I can do. I can't." When people use such reactive language, they unwittingly give power to someone else. They no longer have power over their emotions or actions. So, for the activity, first activity, how does proactive behavior differ from reactive behavior? So, proactive behavior involves taking initiative and planning ahead to prevent or address potential problems. On the other hand, reactive behavior responds to situations as they arise, often without prior planning. Proactive individuals anticipate challenges, while reactive individuals react to immediate circumstances. Number two, give 5 examples of proactive language. First, as a precaution, I always check the weather forecast before planning outdoor activities. Second, in preparation for the exam, she is reviewing the material ahead of time rather than cramming. Number three, to prevent data loss, I regularly back up important files on my computer. Fourth, I've scheduled regular maintenance for my car to prevent unexpected breakdowns. And fifth, to avoid last minute stress, I've started working on the project well in advance. Third, evaluate your language. Is it mostly proactive or reactive? Well, for my language, I am mostly proactive. Fourth, from what you have read about Dr. Jose Rizal, evaluate if he is a proactive person. So, Dr. Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines, demonstrated proactive behavior in various aspects of his life. He was proactive in advocating for reforms during the Spanish colonial era through his writings, such as Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, which aimed to address social issues and injustices. Rizal's proactive stance extended to his educational pursuits as he sought knowledge and enlightenment abroad to contribute to the intellectual development of his country. Additionally, his involvement in the La Liga Filipina, a civic organization he founded, reflected his proactive efforts to address societal problems through organized means. And fifth, if you want positive changes to happen in your environment, start by listing down positive attributes which you possess as a proactive person and compare this with Dr. Jose results. So let's start listing. First is time management. Second, adaptability. Third, resilience. Fourth, leadership. Fifth, continuous learning. Sixth, collaboration. Seventh, initiative. That's the last. So these positive attributes are also illustrated in results. He was great in managing his time, adapting to changes, and resilience as he was exiled in the Pitan city. In the Pitan city, he showed leadership, collaboration, and initiative to bring light and prosperity to the place.
Creativity, the key to productivity and progress. Present realities. The greatest asset of our country it is people. However, it is obvious that little is being done by the official of our government and the private sectors to truly harness the tremendous creative potential of our people. The prevailing colonial mentality in our midst has caused many Filipinos to be blind followers of the thinking, technology, the fashion, and the ways of the Western world. Thus, we are losing or forgetting our true heritage, our creativity, imagination, values, and tradition as a people. If a large number of our people begin to think like everybody else does, there will be a very little progress. And therefore, we will not be surprising if we will continue to overrun by the more progressive, creative countries. Surely this will be the result in our country being left behind. As children, we Filipinos were curious. We try to observe and see things how they work. We learn to do things by actually doing and experiencing them. We were not afraid to experiment. But as we grow older, we began to love the familiar and routine ways. We reason out that it is much easier to function when we can anticipate how things will go instead of being surprised all the time. Somewhere along the way, we began to fear, even dislike experimenting. And the necessary result of this is the loss of our creativity, not only as an individual but also as a nation. Define the term creativity, productivity, and progress. How are they related to each other? Creativity refers to the ability to generate new ideas, concept, or solution through imagination and original thinking. It is involved thinking outside the box, divergent thinking, and the capacity to see things in novel ways or combine existing idea in innovative ways. Productivity is a manner of how efficiently resources such as time and effort are used to being achieve goals or complete tasks. It is about getting things done in effective and timely manner, often quantified by output relative to output. Progress should progress, significant advancement or improvement toward a desired goal or outcome. It could refer to personal growth, technology advancement, social development, or any positive change or advancement in a particular field. Creativity sparks innovation, while productivity enables the realization of creative ideas. While and progress signifies the positive evolution resulting from the combination of creative thinking and efficient execution. Together, they form a cycle where creative ideas are transformed into change and advancement in society, technology, and various phases of life. Was Dr. Jose Rizal a creative person? If your answer is yes, give some example of his creativity. Yes, Dr. Jose Rizal, the Filipino national hero, was indeed a creative person or individual. He demonstrated his creativity in various aspects of his life, leaving a lasting impact through his works and ideas. Rizal was a prolific writer and poet. His novel, particularly No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo, were masterpieces that exposed the injustice and social issues prevalent during the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. Apart from his literary pursuit, Rizal was also skilled in painting and sculpture. He created various artwork that displayed in his artistic creativity, though he didn't pursue arts in his primary profession. Was Dr. Jose Rizal a productive person? How can a person develop creativity? Yes, Dr. Jose Rizal was indeed a productive person. His achievement across various fields such as literature, arts, sciences, and advocacy demonstrated his productivity. Rizal's prolific writing, contribution to literature, linguistic abilities, artistic pursuit, and advocacy work showcase his productivity in diverse areas. Developing creativity is an ongoing process that involves exploration, practice, and a willingness to approach things from new angles. It's about fostering an environment that encourages unconventional thinking and nurturing the creative spirit within oneself. What is the relationship the topic discussed in the results course with one development of his creativity and productivity? A result course impact creativity and productivity by showcasing Rizal's life, literary works, and advocacy. His story inspires change. His literature encourages critical thinking for innovative solutions. His advocacy prompts creative problem solving, and his diverse skills serves as a model for meaningful outcomes. Overall, the course ignites creativity, enhances of critical thinking, and motivates proactive engagement, essential for personal and societal advancement.